the 2045 kit for the big block review. Okay, so the kit, excellent quality. You see, if you're looking up these kits like this, you'll see people having like valve train problems. I've not had any valve train problems at all. What the kit does not include, obviously, is the valve covers, the rocker arms, the push rods, the headers. It also doesn't come with the neck here, and you need a specific neck if you're going to go to an MSD distributor. This kit is very expensive. When I bought it, I think I bought it in 2019, it was like almost $5,000. And since then, and all the other supporting things to get this engine going, I'm about $12,000 in this engine. Very expensive. The issues I've had with it are not necessarily because of the kit, right? They're my own fault. If you get this kit, don't get a vacuum advanced distributor. I would probably recommend getting a mechanical secondary carburetor if you're gonna go carbureted, okay? Because you're just not gonna have the vacuum. Along with that, you're gonna have issues with your vacuum modulator valve on your transmission if you're gonna have an era correct automatic, unless you go to a 4-speed, but you're looking at another $3,000 or more to get the 4-speed set up. I have a C6 in this, and I've not had any issues with it so far, other than just a weird shifting problem, because again, I should have went with a full manual valve body, because this thing doesn't make enough vacuum, which that's my fault basically. I was unaware of the implications of the amount of vacuum that this thing made. And then the other downside of this, if you're trying to put it in a half-ton truck that's meant to do truck things that you're gonna drive or want to drive frequently, okay, you got a big block, right? It's not good on fuel mileage. This is a 7.6 liter V8 after I bored it out. Okay, it was destined to have 10 to 12 miles an hour stock. After the cam and the heads and everything else, we're at 7 miles a gallon. 7. Gasoline is $4 a gallon right now. This thing's not started. I've not started this thing since gas has gotten high, because I can't afford it. It's too expensive. I drove this thing to work for a month before I bought the 300, because I thought that, I have a truck, I can just drive it to work and save up some cash and then go buy a car, right? No. This thing takes $100 every 4 days, 3 to 4 days, to go back and forth to work. And that thing takes $50 a week. So it's, half the cost to drive. And that's also a V8, So just something to be aware of, Most people don't buy it for that, but I was expecting 10 miles to the gallon, So it's a little expensive. If I could have my straight 6 back in here at this point, if the straight 6 was completely rebuilt, I would probably prefer the straight 6, just because of the economy and everything. What else? Okay, so you get this kit, right? You're gonna have to buy one of these to mount your alternator, which I think that was like $150. And then behind the alternator, see if I can zoom in on that, you're gonna have to put 2 big washers behind it, or your alternator is not gonna have the clearance to mount correctly for the belt, right? So it'll squeal a lot and everything. That's something to be thoughtful of. But yeah, everything else mounted up pretty correctly. I got rid of this truck, because it's a half ton, did not have return fuel, so I didn't have to worry about that. I've not had any hot fuel problems that these things have generally, and I think all my hot fuel problems were to the recirculation valve that was meant to fix that problem. I think was my problem with it ultimately. I have a $350, I think, Edelbrock fuel pump mounted to the engine that feeds a 750 CFM Edelbrock carburetor. The Edelbrocks and these engines, or these engines in general, have a problem. When you go wide open, you'll have a bog, hesitation. It'll completely almost die on you, and then it'll catch up, and then it'll take off like a bat out of hell, right? Which I think that's just an accelerator pump issue. It's just not something that I've really been too keen on fixing. I just haven't got around to it. So another problem I've had with the engine, it's like a non-issue really. It's just costed me some more money. Headers, I've had to buy, and this is to this truck specifically, not necessarily the kit, right? To put long tubes on this truck, I bought 2 different sets. The first set, I bought a mid-length header, and obviously fit a big block, but it was not going to work on this truck. The only headers that fit on a F-Series pickup for the big blocks, are the long tubes, plain and simple, point blank, that's it. So my mid-length is just not gonna work. I think it would have fit a Fox body, or like, some other Mustang, maybe a Mustang 2 or whatever, the 70s ones, but it won't fit this. Also, the header bolt keeps backing out on the back side of this header. Nearest the firewall, the bolt keeps backing out and burning up the gasket. I can put Loctite in it, and I will next time. But here's the flange, right? Here's the tube. It's like this, and then you have a bolt here. So you have a tube that comes here, and the bolt's here. So you can barely get the bolt in, first of all, and then you just have to use a wrench. That's the only way that you can get it. And then you can't even get a ratcheting wrench in there. Literally just a box end of a wrench or an open end, and that's it. And then it's against the firewall. It's really a pain to get it in and out. So I think this is the 3rd set I've put on it, and it's already burnt out. And the bolt's probably not even in it anymore at this point. So the next one I do, I will buy a new gasket, obviously, and then get Loctite and put Loctite on it. I put anti-seize on the rest of the bolts, and they were fine, but that one keeps backing out. And I think it keeps backing out because I don't have a flex tube or a flex pipe in the exhaust, right? So I think the vibrations are making it back out. Other than that, she runs really strong. Runs really, really strong. I did a burnout for probably 100 yards, and this is a peg leg, 308 rear gear, right? So it's super highway gear, and it will still just blow the tires off this thing. Now I have stock tire size on here. There are 2. So these 235s are not enough tire for this thing, but they were cheap, and I just, I wanted the truck to drive. So other than that, it's a really great setup. I will say, in my opinion, for my application, right, this is not a demerit on this, but for my application, I don't think I'd buy the kit again. I like the kit, in the sense it was all, together. I just bought the kit. But I would go with a different cam, at least. And then I would have probably went and saved money on the distributor, because I'm pretty sure that if you get a fully mechanical distributor instead of the vacuum one, if you don't have the vacuum advance on the distributor, then it is a little cheaper, right? I think, because it's an added thing. I would hope. I don't know, I haven't actually priced it out, but and then the mechanical secondaries on the carb would probably have been better. But yeah, I do regret deciding to go with the big block, but I got the white truck that's been in the channel when I was 17, and this is what I was wanting to do then, you know, so I saw it through. But if I were to do it again, I would have done it just with a regular small block, and kept the stock cam, or maybe put a mild cam in it, because I don't know, I just can't afford, you know, 7 miles the gallon. I'd prefer the straight 6 in this rebuilt, because I could get 15-ish miles a gallon versus the 7, right? It's a big difference. But ultimately, you know, to conclude, it's a wonderful kit. The valves are about the size of my palm. They're huge. Okay, it makes lots of power, right? If I had a 355, 373, 410, whatever, if I had more gear in it, and it was in, you know, whatever you wanted to put it in, this thing's gonna haul balls, okay? I don't know how fast I've gone, because the speedometer only goes to 85 about, you know, here. Well, I had it here. You know, I almost had it wrapped around the speedometer all the way. So somewhere between 100 and 120, 135, something like that, I would guess, in this truck. You know, it was getting after it. $14,000 to get her going, right? That's H-beam rods, okay? That's, I think, Keith Black Hyper whatever tech pistons, okay? That's it, getting bored out 30 over. The crank polished, you know, everything balanced up. What else? The deck was fine, and then you have to buy push rods, right? I got the thick boy. I got the 3/8 push rods with the 5/16 balls, because these 460s take a 5/16 push rod from the factory. Well, I got a 3/8 push rod with a 5/16 ball. The Scorpion rocker arms, I think those were $300 for the set. It was very expensive, and I don't think I would ever do it again. It's for sale, fellas. Give me a number. I got $12,000 to $14,000 in this thing, and I'll throw in the trans, right? So I have about somewhere between $15,000 to $16,000 in the engine, in the power plant, you know, the engine and the transmission alone. If I could recoup 75% of that money, I'd be screaming hallelujah. And I can go and at least, you know, build a straight 6 and have a truck that I can drive and afford to drive. But I digress. It's a good setup. If it's something that you want, it's worth it. If it's something you want. I can't afford it. Buyer beware, if this is your first time. Most of those valve covers that you're gonna buy, you're gonna have to drill holes in, because most of them don't come with oil fill caps or holes for an oil fill cap. So you have to do that yourself. And a little tech tip on top of that, if it takes a 1.25 inch hole, use a 1-inch hole saw, a 1-inch hole saw for a 1.25 inch hole. Because if you use a 1.25 inch hole saw bit for your 1.25 inch hole, you're gonna have a bigger than a 1.25 inch hole, right? And then your fucking oil fill cap and your PCV loose in the valve cover, you're gonna have leaks. And I had leaks for a long time. And the only way that I was able to fix it, because I don't want to spend another $200 on valve covers, right, to redo it, I went to the store, I got some JB Weld, and I packed the hole up. And then I ground it back down a little bit with a die grind, no, not a die grinder, like a Dremel. I just filed it back down until, you know, it was where it needed to be. And now I don't have any leaks, which is nice. You know, I set up an oil catch system, because I was having a little bit of that. I wasn't working on cars when everything was flat tappet back in the day, but this thing produces a lot of metal, like cream. in the oil or sparkles, and that's never gone away. But I don't think, I still think I only have about 5,000 to 6,000 miles on this engine, like max, like 5,000 to 6,000 miles on this engine. And they've not all been hard. Like, I've been driving it, I can't afford to drive it real hard. I have driven it hard sometimes, but not every day, that I drive it. And it still makes a lot of metal. I don't know if that's just a result of the flat tappet cams. You older guys can maybe say something about that. But yeah, man, she's badass. She hauls balls. Keep it poor, folks.